Coleman. How'd you get down here? How's the travel into Atlanta?
Good. Had a quick flight this morning, and came over. It's an easy hour flight from Raleigh-Durham. So
you guys are down here doing a little recruiting at C3, but I like talking to you about we talking about every major stage of your life, man. I was with you a lot for the Olympic stuff. I was in London. We talked to you right before you made weight. It's been a pretty cool access to you, but in talking to you throughout this whole being a competitor, now you're a head coach. Tell me about the transition from 2016 Iowa City. You're no longer a competitor anymore.
Yeah.
And then some interesting stuff happened with your assistant coach, Tony Ramos. But what's it been like in the transition for you from coach to competitor coach?
You always think that it would slow down, right? You're losing one whole facet of your life that you've had for the last 20 years, and that's in competing. But it's actually just we put more time into something else, whether it's recruiting, whether it's this, whether it's that. But, so my life sort of hadn't changed. The only thing is I eat a lot more and I enjoy myself. And, I'm at peace with being done with competitive wrestling. And, but it's a fun time for me. I think we have a lot of special things going on in Chapel Hill, and we're recruiting our tails off and getting these guys better every day. So.
You guys are in the ACC, super competitive league. If you look, you guys brought home a team trophy with Virginia Tech last year. I mean, the bar is constantly going up. NC State had one of the greatest dual seasons of all time in the ACC. How do you guys keep up in the ante? And you said you've taken that energy from competition now into coaching.
Yeah.
What's that like, and how much different is that for you guys, energy-wise, body-wise? How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel great. I think it's great that we have those teams that we can compete against day in, day out. You want competition. It's going to make us better, right? You always got to have somebody that's going to push you. You push them, to get to where you want to go. Doing it on your own is a lot harder. So having Virginia Tech and Virginia Pitt and NC State, it's good. It's great. I love it, and it's going to get us better. And like you said, focusing all my energy on coaching, on getting guys better. On recruiting, on getting the guys that fit our system. That's been our focus. And we're well on that path. And I think we're making strides in the room. We see it. It hadn't been shown on the mat yet, and I look forward to this upcoming season to be the first full year that I have without competing.
Looking at like everybody judges everything on March. That's the biggest part.
Sure.
ACC, NCAA tournament. What do you guys got to do to punch 2-3 All-Americans through and start getting where Virginia Tech was, where NC State was? What do you guys got to do, and what do you personally as a coach got to do? What do the Tar Heels got to do to get there?
Just maximize everything. My job as a coach is to get the most out of each individual. And it's sometimes it's during the year you got to hold these kids back. Sometimes you got to push them. And it's figuring that out. And I think I've had a couple years with the kids and getting there and get some of our own kids in there, so we have a better feel at where we're at. And but like I said, it's really maximizing each individual's where they can go or what their goals are, how we're going to get there, and like I said, sometimes we got to hold them back during the year, it's a learning process, sometimes we got to push them when they don't want to be pushed, those little things that we're figuring out and that we figured out, and I've got my staff set, and I feel like we're going to make big strides this year.
What's it like coaching with a guy you compete against with Tony Ramos? What is that like? Is that like you guys still scrap it out? Like what? How do you like the balance with you and him? How does that work?
First off, he's a great guy. That helps a lot. Our families are close. Our wives talk every day. Kids hang out every day. We still scrap. He's got to get better. And that's what if he's still training, then I'm going to be one of his training partners. And that's the hat that I put on when I'm rolling with him. Kenny's running our practices, and I'm just there with Tony as a training partner when I'm going with him. And I'm there to help him reach his goals as well as we're in this together to reach our own goals coaching wise. So it's a cool dynamic. I don't think there's anybody else in the country that has a Oklahoma State grad and Iowa grad on the same staff. That have seen the two most historic programs in wrestling come together, and two guys that competed tooth and nail with each other to make the Olympic team. But coaching's not about having an ego. You got to swallow that ego. I thought he was a great candidate for what I was looking for, and he's an unbelievable coach and unbelievable guy, and I look forward to having a long future with him.
Do you still got the itch? Does it because it's hard?
None.
It's gone.
None. I'm completely at peace with retiring, and I knew that was a big reason why I wrestled through 16. At 12, it was, came up a little short and wavering, and 13, and You know, it was hard getting back into training and what I needed. You know, but I knew if I walked away before 16, it would have been later down I would have had the itch. I would have had the questioning. You know, I can walk away. I can be completely pleased with what I've done in my wrestling career. My focus is literally, I love coaching. I love being in the room. I love wrestling. I love grabbing those guys and just wrestling for an hour, you know. And now I'm able to do that. You know, I love going in there and just picking, you know, Tony's brain and me and him just going back and forth for a couple hours. That's where I'm at. That's my energy, you know. That's all that energy I had competing on that training. You know, now I focus that into that, and it's, you know, I'm 100% at peace with being done and never competitively wrestling again. And I'm just, you know, it's one of those deals I walked away, and I feel like I walked away on my terms and at my time.
Okay, the $1 million question for me, I've been wondering, this has been swirling through my head for months. If they call you, get the call. Coleman, you got the gold medal. That's a yeah. I'm not making that up. Yeah. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
They took the silver from Kudakov.
Yeah.
Posthumously, not around anymore. What happens if they call you? What has that even been an option? Have you thought about that at all?
No, not really.
He's been busted. He's banned for a year.
Yeah, he's banned for a year. It was a different drug test, but you know they keep your urine sample for 8 years. So I guess we have another cycle to figure it out.
Would you take it? Why wouldn't you? Come on, man, you earned it.
Yeah,
he was cheating.
Not. Yeah, probably not though. I didn't really earn it. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know if it would have helped him. You know, he beat me fair and square, and you know, in my mind, and I lost because it was me wrestling. I don't think, I don't think if he beat me because he tested positive for something, I don't think that really enhanced him that much to beat me. You know, and it is what it is. You know, I guess I'd be calling Novigrad to see if that lived in the dream funds there. So I might take it. I don't know. But you know, I mean, it was a good scrap. You know, I think I've only watched the match once since then, and it's still hurts. You know, because going back and watching it that one time, it was a lot closer than I think I even remembered. You know, to scoring at the end of the period, both periods. You know, so a couple seconds away from really, you know, maybe the finals. I don't know, but it is what it is. You know, like I said, I gave it a run. I gave it my best run, and you know, had fun doing it, and did a lot for my family and my friends that supported me throughout the whole career from 6 years old all the way through. You know, something to, I mean, can't really give it to them, but you know, that's the least I can do for them is to bring them some joy in me competing, and them, you know, having 95 of them follow me to London and do all that. You know, so you know, that stuff was for them. You know, I love it, and you know, I did it for the glory of the sport, and you know, that's what we do it for as wrestlers. But you know, if he beat me fair and square, I think, and you know, is what it is. You know, I'm over it. Like I said, it still hurts if I would have watched it, but you know, I don't know. If he tests positive, you know, I guess I might take it. I don't know, but I'm still bronze medalist in my mind. You know, because you can't change the feeling on the award stand that day. You know, it wasn't the greatest feeling. You know, hearing his national anthem. It's just not something that you wake up and dream about every day when you're training, when you're doing conditioning, you're doing everything more and more. You know, you don't think, oh, I'm going to be standing on the third step. You know, so I don't think you could ever change it. You know, my feeling is I got a bronze medal. You know, I'm happy with it. You know, move on. Now it's the next chapter of my life.